Conservation is not natural order.
Alright,
Not the same thing.
Nope.
last time with the Island Private Investigation team. Uh, we caught up the absentees to the present.
We're the pit.
Hmm?
We're the pit, the private investigation team.
No, Island Private Investigation Team, I.P.I.
Uh,
Yeah.
I.P.I.
oh, I see the two paleontologists are both wearing their paleo shirts.
I'm always wearing a paleo shirt.
Unless you're wearing a Harry Potter.
Uh,
I haven't really worn a Harry Potter thing in a while.
But you also managed to convince the Owlin that you got that medallion from to take you over to where he got said medallion. However, along the way, someone attempted to kidnap Sahir, accusing him of being a spy.
We settled it over tea.
You're
Eventually.
you're able to convince the Kenku that was
That was
trying
it?
to kidnap Sahir that you're way too incompetent to be the spy.
I
And
don't
then
know
you
if it's
settle
the
things over
best way to
tea.
convince somebody that you're not a spy, but at the same time, it's a way to convince somebody you're not a spy.
Take it.
And but you did learn the name of the, well, or at least an alias of the person you're looking for. A changeling under the employment of Dagmar Vanderveen, uh, simply known as Maximal Smart, Agent
Agent 86.
86. And this week, you finish your collective tea that time, and unless you have anything you want to, or have any shared business, Ono and Aganai go their separate ways, or go their separate way from you.
In touch. Let us know if you found them. Probably important that we communicate that. Otherwise, we could be chasing a dead man.
True.
Sorry, aside. We finish our collective tea time. I'm like, our D&T campaign suddenly sounds like a bunch of 5-year-old girls having a tea party over and over and over again, like just collective tea parties.
Just thought it sounded like a normal British afternoon.
Too.
I
We're all
don't know
hobbits.
why you're here is perpetuating British tea time, but
But go for it. What's funny is that the physician isn't. Granted, I think the TARDIS is. He built you a tea room.
yes. I think it's a thing in other countries, though. Like, I think India.
What, a
I
time
see.
specific
Think
for
so.
tea?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably India.
I'd say probably India. I don't know as far as other nations, but it is a very British thing. The specific phrase.
So I suppose India was taken over by the British for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I
Like,
was
time,
just say,
it
it
made
does
me
make
think
sense.
of like a tea party because in England they just call it tea. They don't call it tea time or things like that. I mean, unless they're announcing that it's time for tea, they just call it tea.
Yes, I just remembered that Sahir got a message.
Oh, yes. A message I should not look at on the main screen, but in fact on my brand new phone.
Uh huh.
Oh, what'd you do to your old phone?
It actually didn't die for once. It just was old, and my dad decided to replace it for me for my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, his old phone, like the call quality, he had to put in his headphones to be able to have the person he was talking to on the phone actually hear him.
And it took a long time for the camera to focus, and the battery life was getting pretty bad. But it still worked.
I mean, hey, my laptop lays flat, but she still works, so I still use her.
And I've been using it for like 4 years, or maybe I think it was 4, maybe 5, 4 or 5 years.
At least 4, because it was the one that we had when we got married, so.
Yes.
Nice, and tea time is UK and some Commonwealth countries.
That was so amazingly non-specific.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like Australia, South Africa, and New Zealand. But, I.P.I, what is it that you wish to do?
I think the last thing in my notes was we were looking into how to perform locate creature without the actual spell.
Yeah, the position we're seeing if the position can hone in on the changeling with the TARDIS.
And I think we determined that that was a no.
Last I remember, the physician was trying and the bunny went to help him.
Yeah, but I think the roll that we got was a no.
Yeah, I think I rolled like a 9%.
And so here that message is, you're welcome to share that message if you wish.
Not yet.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yes.
It's not a hint, I'm just saying it's an option.
I still can't be sure that we want to accept help and not kill our friend.
What?
Well, if that's everything, I guess we should get back to going where the, I guess,
The
modified
Owlin.
present was modified.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Well, without any more interruptions, you are able to get to the place where the Alan said. I'm pretty sure I said that it was in an alley, so
By an orphanage.
Yeah.
But he didn't actually call it an orphanage, he just said it was where the orphans are, which obviously means an orphanage.
Well, doesn't have any signage yet. But they, like...
Could be an orphanage, or it could mean where the orphans live, unattended.
Okay, well...
So... Or it could be the lair of a street gang of orphans. Yeah, good point.
Lord of the Flies has been taken and placed on this island.
Thinking Oliver Twist, but okay.
I'm not familiar with Oliver Twist.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Please.
That's the only line I know from the original. The rest I know from Oliver and Company. Yeah, pretty much there's just like one building like on your left side that has a bunch of kids out in front of it. They are supervised, but I mean, they do seem to be pretty ragged. The other building appears to be a house, but the Owlin will lead you into the alley, and will say, "Well, this is where I lifted that shiny medallion."
I was gonna do an investigation check.
Yep.
They'll do the same.
Well,
All right. 12.
One moment.
Oh, I'm going to open this.
Investigation, right?
Yes.
22.
All right. So you're both able to find bits and you're able to find some more black powder that has a bit of a sulfury or carbon smell to it. It appears to have been swept off, so it's not all in one area. Yeah.
you didn't happen to stick around enough to see if they were joined by anybody else, were you?
No. No, I didn't. I just saw that they were sticking some more powder into that gift, or into that prank box. Decided to see if I could take one little thing and got out of there.
Jonah will just lean over to Isolene like, can you think of any other reason to keep him around?
We already gotten the description.
Mm-hmm.
No, we should be able to send him on his way, I think. So I guess knowing where we can contact him if any other questions come to mind would be a good thing.
Right. Yeah. Are you whispering this to each other?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Kind of aside, just like,
All right.
The aside
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah. You just gotta remember that this guy doesn't have a high passive perception. I mean, it's still pretty high, but it's not as high as Rada's.
Nothing is as high as Robert. That's not a
we
fair
have the
comparison.
slightest idea how little that narrows it down. Oh wait, you should.
I think it's lower than Tongs. Well, I suppose I should specify which version of Tong. This version, no. Okay, this version's level 18. There's the correct timeline version. No, it's the same as correct song. Okay, you whisper amongst yourselves.
Mhm.
Andy Joan will at the end of that I just turn around and is like, well, guess we can send you on your way. Do you have a regular place you generally go where we can find you to ask anything more if we think of it?
I mean, if you're asking where I have a home or establishment, the J&E is the closest you're going to get. Like, Joanna and Echo's Arcane Emporium.
Got a particular time of day?
Probably in the mornings and the evenings would be when you're most likely to get me there, because I'm a bit of a hunter. Normally.
No, makes sense.
Also, half the time I am I follow like normal owl stuff, and half the time I'm diurnal. So mornings and evenings are the most reliable time.
Well, as you can head out, thanks for your time.
And he will spread his wings and fly off.
He's so much more helpful than that Kenku. My goodness.
The Kenku or the Arakokra?
Damn it! Now I'm mixing my speeches. I think.
The Kenku was the one that tried to kidnap Sahir. That's Ono. The Aarakocra that he's.
Oh no, I'm talking about the circus ringleader.
Yeah, he's an Aarakocra.
There it is. Okay. Eric.
Give him some time. He might prove himself yet.
He still hasn't contacted any of us to give us any information that whatever he's trying has at least remotely succeeded. It's like he's not even trying to help his case.
Sahir kind of like looks away for a moment, kind of in that yeah, sure sort of way.
Do I need to incite this? Considering how high my insight is.
Alright. So here, go ahead, roll a deception.
Insight.
This is not gonna go the way I want. I need to pull up my character now. Where are my dice?
I rolled a total of 21 for my insight.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's high enough.
I also rolled an insight. Because I think all of us are just rolling insight on this.
I got a 35.
Modified 20.
I was gonna say there's no way I can beat a 35. I don't have any plus stat that's above like a 9, I think.
I was gonna say, I know mine's not as good as the position roll, but I'm very proud of my modified 20.
See, the bunny doesn't care. The bunny's drinking her tea.
Oh, the bunny's finishing her tea.
Oh, I do. No, that's insight. I have a plus 5 on deception. I got a 12.
So all of you can tell Sahir's hiding something.
Sahir.
Had to share with the party.
Okay, fine. He's been contacting me at least. He's not dead. He may be even on the right trail.
As nice as it is to hear he's not dead, what trail would that be?
Or, I mean, He might be cooked by an angsty teenager dragon, but last I heard, he was still safe.
I'm sorry, an angsty teenage dragon. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the same black-haired kid that we were chasing earlier, who's probably a dragon. Last I heard from him, he was under the watchful eye of said angsty teenager that is probably a dragon.
Okay, first of all, that would be deserved. Second of all, how did he get that close?
The same might be more useful than he seemed.
Be under the watchful eye of the angsty dragon teenager sounds more like he's been captured.
He said he's in. He's in. That's what he says.
Oh, okay.
She pretended
Might be
to be an
suspected,
angsty
but
teenager
he's in.
because I've tried that before and it doesn't work. I figure it out pretty fast that you're an adult. Well, sometimes.
The bunny is gonna come over and pull on the physician's leg.
Why are you wet?
Tea god.
I told you not to do that. I'm gonna pick her up and I'm gonna wring her out. You're going to get mold in the fabric, and then what? Then you're definitely not getting back in the console.
Sorry, what?
I said you're gonna get mold, and then what? Then you're definitely not gonna be able to get put back in the console because you're gonna be moldy.
Woo machine.
Woo machine. What does that mean?
Woo.
Fan?
Wash.
Washing machine. We've really got to work on your vocabulary. Dreadful.
You just again, Islene's face is a little bit horrified at the prospect of watching the bunny being wringed out, knowing that it's a sentient being. Like, that's not supposed to be
There's just-
So if I caught everything from this exchange correctly, I'm not supposed to serve the Tarpus team?
No, because she doesn't have a mouth. I don't know that you noticed this. She doesn't have a mouth, and so it just sucks into the fabric, and then she smells like tea for ages, unless I put her in the washing machine. But I still have to wring her out after that because I can't just throw her in the dryer unless I put her in a pillowcase.
The bunny's just kind of sitting there swinging her arms back and forth.
He seemed so excited for tea, though. Okay. I figured I wasn't going to question that, but...
That's because in her normal form, she doesn't get to consume anything. She doesn't have a mouth then either. She's a box. Well, technically she's coral, but that's beside the point. She doesn't have a mouth. She doesn't get to consume things. And the one and only time she has had a mouth, she bit me. So it's not happening again.
Kissing but winner.
That's not... It's not how that works. Okay. So we have an angsty teenager who's apparently meeting up with what's his face?
Somewhat aware of, but not entirely suspicious of Avery, presumably.
I wasn't having any reasons to be suspicious of him earlier. I think he's just a bit dense, but maybe not. I don't know. Either that or he's a lot better at hiding what he's really about. Which is really hard to do for me, so I'd be really impressed if that's the case. And also really angry, because that's not cool. lying is not cool.
Well, generally murderers like to lie about the fact that they murdered someone, so.
This is true. Unless they're psychotic. But I don't get that from him. So if he is a murderer, he's definitely not a psychopath.
I don't want to know how you know so much about murderers. So Avery
The
said
number of-
he's in, and anything else? Location? Plans angsty teenager might have?
Nothing of such sort of details, although I have asked. We'll see if he responds. Only if it's safe, I told him such.
Maybe they're in that bar somewhere in that other dimension. If he's a teenage dragon, maybe that's his lair. Don't think too hard on that. I'm being very facetious.
No. I can't tell if that's actually one of the stupidest or smartest things to do for a dragon to hide in the horde of another dragon while that dragon is away.
You know, that is not the first time somebody's ever said that to me. Let's do it.
So you're going back to the lair. Is that what I'm understanding?
There have been no yays or nays. I don't know.
I just assumed the physician just already started running off.
Honestly, to be fair, he probably would. Probably would. Yes, I went back to the lair.
So here he's following, and kind of as he begins to do this, he kind of looks to the rest of the party, and he's like, "Oh, and I can confirm he's at least still trying to help us, if that wasn't obvious."
Thank you for that clarification.
No, that was obvious.
Mm-mm.
Again with
I
the
was gonna say,
running.
I'm obviously following.
Didn't go fishing for anything but terrorists.
Alright. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so you make your way back to the lair. And there are noises coming from inside.
Oh, that's new.
Yes. Considering the last time that you did this.
Ooh. What will we do with that information?
Absolutely nothing.
I heard someone beginning to cry Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
The
No, but when she said
physician.
absolutely nothing, that's what it made me think.
Come now, if any Time Lord were to shout their name while running in chaotically, we know it would be the Master.
What do you do with this information?
No, the doctor has attack eyebrows.
I'm going to pause to listen. See if I recognize any voices.
Alright. Roll perception. While you're doing that, I am going to get my other notebook.
Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
I am just in a good place tonight, I guess.
Okay. No, there are not any voices that you recognize.
Dun dun dun.
But it does sound like, well, there's the sound of metal on rock. and what
Oh,
sounds like the hammering of nails.
Well, let's go take a peek. We dig.
Are you trying not to be heard or seen?
No. Well, the thing is, stealth, not really the physician's thing. He doesn't generally care whether people know he's there or not.
But is it like a... is it more like a stage stealth where he's like being more quiet than usual, but not really enough to be considered stealthy?
Yeah, probably.
Like he's kind of like walking in to observe, but not necessarily making a whole bunch of attention to himself. It's like
Yeah.
that kind of thing where it's like just strolling in, being himself, and watching what's going on.
Yeah, basically.
Here he's attempting to be stealthy behind the physician. The physician's a great distraction, or so he thought.
Alright, go ahead, roll stealth then. Sahir.
I rolled nat 1 with a +5.
Wow. Oh.
Thank you, my dear.
It's because I haven't figured out where they are yet. The Fight Club got a message from them and was like, got it, bad rolls.
Alright. So...
The dice are in your backpack from when we went to Kentucky.
Now, quick question.
Also, I think I only brought one set of them with me, so the other set should be here somewhere.
Probably on your desk.
Yeah.
Likely underneath your headphones.
So, a quick question. What do you have, like,
Yes.
do you have cooking utensils in your equipment? So
Probably. Yes.
Alright, so...
Same wise Ganji with the kitchen utensils clacking along the backside outside of his pack.
Alright, so... everyone that isn't trying to be sneaky, or you follow a physician's example of, quieting your steps, but not really trying to be sneaky. So here, you try to be sneaky, but then you, like, trip on, like, a rock or something. You fall forward, and there's just the clatter of pots and pans against each other.
You kind of, like, turn around and just look at him like, are you okay?
The hero will say straight up, yep, perfectly fine.
Okay.
It matters, but
Well, in that case, let's try to just be a little bit quieter. I don't know who's in here. Might just be workers. Might be somebody important. I don't know.
Yes. I got you.
Some of the hammering does appear to have stopped.
I did roll for stealth. I don't know if it matters with what Sahir just did, but I got a 14, if that helps.
Okay.
I know I'm behind them, so...
Yeah, Jones kind of just following the physician's example of just, I'm gonna try and not make all of the noise. Kind of like hold down so the chainmail so it doesn't make as much racket.
Yeah. All right.
But, you continue in, and you, like, look around the corner, and those of you with dark vision... Well, actually, no, you don't even need dark vision, because these guys have lights. You do see, like, a bunch of workers, like, taking, like, pickaxes to the wall, and basically it just looks like a bunch of workers.
Okay. Have they noticed us at all?
Yeah, a couple of the workers are looking in your direction.
So they have pickaxes for the wall. Does it look like they're expanding the aforementioned pub, or just the cave in general?
Roll insight.
Use your actual dice.
That's my best stat, guys. I got a 25.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are expanding the tunnel.
Expanding the pub.
You mean the pub or the lair itself, or the pub? You said tunnel.
They're expanding the lair.
Through the mountains,
Interesting.
tunnel.
So it's not necessarily the pub is being built; it's the lair itself is being expanded.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. I hear one of the people call out in Elvish. Who goes there?
I'll just kind of step forward and like, it is I, the physician.
And I, the chef.
Just like shrug and like kind of throw away a little bit. Like I
Yes. The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick
did
maker.
that. I don't know what to do.
Actually, like Joan like takes in like, oh my goodness, this is already ridiculous. Just follows like the bodyguard.
That's great.
Just like stand there, not really announcing myself. I'm just gonna stand there. So I'm waiting to see what the bunny's gonna do.
I mean, Iselin doesn't seem like they notice you.
Oh, nice. They don't. I haven't announced myself, so they don't notice me.
But the rest of us were either not being stealthy or miserably failing at doing so.
What? I'm an elephant, so I
Yeah.
know exactly what they're saying. I mean, granted, we all do because of the TARDIS, but I'm sitting here like, this is one of my native languages, and I'm the one that's not noticed. That's awesome.
Well, they're not close enough that to be within 30 feet of you. They're probably more like 60 or 40 feet away.
Okay.
I may not actually understand the.
You're a half elf. You should
What
have
language?
Elvish.
Elvish.
I do have Elvish, so.
Yeah, the bunny just kind of follows along, just watching the show.
Like, I imagine the bunny just like it comes up and stands next to me. It's like watching to like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, has a bucket of popcorn just pushing against their face. And the butter slowly sticking to the fur.
Thinking like the butter's just sticking to the fur.
Thank you for just throwing me back to a session with one of my cousins.
Is
You're
that
welcome.
Is that actually?
What?
I mean, one of my favorite things that have ever happened with the bunny was the fact that I was zoning out, and because I was falling asleep because it was so late, and Myra was playing a deity for Kyle's campaign that I was playing the bunny for. And she goes, "What do you want?" And I go, "Pancakes." Because I really wanted pancakes. And because the bunny speaks psionically, she could hear it. And so all of a sudden, this plate of pancakes appear, and the rest of the party just sees the bunny start worshiping pancakes. They have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Yep. Can confirm. Did happen.
Well,
My sister-in-law's niece. We did karaoke and she wanted to do the song "I Like Pancakes."
so what happened with the thing that I just remembered was that I was DMing for a campaign with my cousins, and I pretty much had where they all had to like challenge the gods of death to fight. Meanwhile, my one cousin, who's I forget which god it was, but he's like talking with him and saying like, wouldn't it be much more fun to just like watch them all fight? And I'm like, roll persuasion. And rolled high enough that she didn't have to fight him. She instead was like in the audience with all of the other gods that weren't participating in the fight, eating popcorn.
Nice.
Alright, so one of the words is, you can't be here. It's a restricted area. And it switches to common, hearing the variety of voices.
Here we'll look to the physician. Guess they already had lunch.
Yes, we already had lunch.
I need to check something really quick.
Go for it.
Must be the wrong address. That surely must be it, right? I'm kind of look around to everybody else.
Isley's just gonna stare at you like you're nuts. She doesn't catch on that you're trying to basically. Me as a player knows exactly what you're doing. Isley doesn't.
Actually, John will lean over to the physician and say, So does your multi-tool have a solve for this, or should I do something?
Sorry, what? Eric was messaging me. It's a little important. Sorry.
So, does your multi-tool have a solve for this, or should I step in?
Solve for what?
The workers just told us that we can't be here because it's a restricted area.
Oh.
Here came to the conclusion they must have already had lunch.
Oh no, my multi-tool doesn't. Of course we have. Of course we're allowed to be here. See, I got the paperwork. Flip my slightly psychic paper out.
What are we, building inspectors?
That's kind of up to them what they think they see on there.
I mean, we have already introduced ourselves as the physician, the chef, and the bodyguard.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out where.
As I didn't introduce myself, I'm beginning to wonder if they're going to think that I'm some big important person, which would be righteously hilarious.
Especially since they haven't noticed you yet.
So, should I just like roll a deception?
I'm not even going to bother. They rolled a 5 for insight.
Oh,
Ah.
yes.
Well, I did roll higher, if that matters.
With your modifier,
Not by a
no.
ton, but I did.
With your modifier, I don't think it matters. Yeah, that's just straight
Okay.
zeros. Yeah, that's just straight zeros for everything. Commoners don't have to touch people.
That is true.
Looks at the paper, looks back at you, looks back at the paper. We weren't expecting an inspection today.
Well, you can't have an inspection properly done if you're expecting it, now can you?
No, and why a bunch of inspectors with the names physician, the baker, and the bodyguard?
I think he said chef.
The chef.
Yeah. Do you have a problem with our names?
No.
He's gonna start like pretending to write on this, on another page, like just like.
Oh no.
I know, and Joan just crosses her arms and just raises her eyebrows, like, "Really, you're asking this?"
Oh, no. Of course not. Why don't you get on with your inspection?
Thank you.
I believe he said his name was the chef. I did say that out loud to them. That wasn't just me being me over here.
You have revealed yourself.
Iseline said that to them. Basically, I believe he said his name was the chef.
What? Is someone else back there?
I've been here the whole time. Because I could understand you when you first called
So
out
with that,
knowledge.
Anna, she's gonna start. Not very observant. Anyone can sneak in.
I mean, that may actually want to be something that you write down considering your thoughts about this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's definitely taking note of that.
Anyone except for us.
Right.
Anyone except people that trip.
Now, which one of you is in charge of this project?
Alright, boss, got a surprise inspection!
This is too good.
Alright, a half elf just covered in like rock dust, like come walking over and surprise inspection. Yes, I assure you that everything for this burrow is going well. We're doing everything with what limited codes there are. It's just we're not experienced with working in extra-dimensional spaces.
Interesting.
Now, when you say limited codes, do you mean requirements for what you need to do, or few safety regulations that you aren't that aren't being observed?
Sahir will whisper to Iseline, I think I know why there's so few safety codes considering who heads half this government.
It's not that there's not that we're not following the codes, it's just there aren't a lot of codes to follow.
And that concerns you, yes?
It does, but the Prime Minister is also the building advisor.
Yeah.
Take it from me. That's not her forte.
I had the feeling.
Like Joan even has her own, like, goes into her bag and pulls out her own, like, paperwork and actually starts writing some of the stuff down.
So here we'll chime in. So if the workplace feels unsafe with so few codes, have you begun to work on your own safety system?
Oh yes, of course. I mean,
Well,
well, one of the few
why don't you
things
show
that,
us?
yes, of course. Now,
I'm
considering
going
that,
to
yes.
like as he's turning to talk to everybody, I'm going to psychically talk to my rabbit and be like, "Hey, take a look around, see if you find anything sketch."
On it. And then all of a sudden you get the this tune in your head. Ba bum 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 ba bum. Ba da bum. Ba da bum. Ba da bum.
Somebody like wander off, but like in these interesting like jerky little movements where she like looks like she's sneaking around and trying to hide from I don't know what. I'm gonna look at the position like, would you like me to accompany?
She'll be fine. If anybody bothers her that isn't me, she'll just burn. Literally.
Okay, so first off, I want a stealth from the rabbit. Yeah, so guess
I nat 20'd that.
okay then.
That is awesome.
2 nat 20s from the same house.
In 2 different rooms. I can't
Yeah.
even see her. I have a door.
Utah just must be a luckier place than Seattle, at least today.
Yeah.
Today. But they like me. They've been rolling
It's
high.
actually been decent today here too. I just had the nat 1.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, that deception I rolled, I did roll a nat 2. I just have a pretty decent modifier.
Oh my gosh.
And again, commoners have nothing. Okay, so yeah, the rabbit. No one sees you this entire time. And no one's going to notice you while the group is here.
Excellent.
You could steal literally everything and nobody would notice.
The thing is that I probably could because I could just teleport it into the TARDIS. Yes, I add you.
Okay.
Then
I'm gonna
the
run to the
doctor would be
bathroom,
like,
so
"What
just catch me up when I get back.
Alright. So, yeah, go ahead and roll, I guess, either investigation or perception, since you're looking for sketchy things.
Quick question. So the rabbit is completely unnoticeable to this group of workers, but for us as a group, can we see her like moving around?
It disappears.
Only when the rabbit first goes off, like, because you'll know where it is. But as soon as you lose track of it, you can't find it.
Okay.
Like
I know I've watched her for a little bit, but then I probably lose track of her because I probably turn back to the conversation with the workers.
15.
All right. I mean, what you do find are there's nothing particularly sketchy about this place. You do manage to find the blueprints of the place. Basically, what you're getting is a blueprint for a dungeon slash burrow with looks like an extension for some docks and a tavern, with that tavern being particularly in a extra dimensional space.
How big would you say these blueprints are?
Bigger than the rabbit. I mean,
Okay.
they're probably like those like those blueprints that you have to like scroll up, and they're just in these like big tubes that you have to carry under
Okay.
an arm.
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm wondering if I can, in a sense, scan the papers so that way I download them to the actual TARDIS.
Yeah, you could probably do that while they're off talking. I think the only other thing that would be noteworthy is that there is like a part that is kind of like scratched in. You don't happen to know Infernal, correct?
TARDIS.
As the bunny itself, the bunny does not have that, but it like in the TARDIS would be able to translate it because the TARDIS can translate any language. So I will say, just kind of like to not like overpower me.
Yeah.
I would have to be closer to my actual body to be able to translate it. Then within that 30-foot radius for me to be able to translate it, because if I'm not close enough to me,
all right,
I like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know how like in Percy Jackson where the English words like miss
the English and the Greek
or like swap. I'm gonna say that's kind of what happens to me when
okay.
I'm not near my body. Like it's like I'm catching stuff, but I can't focus on it enough to like actually translate it.
All right, that sounds fair. All right, but so there is a place that has some markings down, but you can save that for later.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the group, so the guy will like turn like begin like giving you a tour. And just like now, we do it. One of the precautions we've taken is just like putting up like whenever we're working, we have these signs up to remind everyone that this is a dragon horde, and that if they take anything, the dragon's going to know.
Very wise, very wise.
Yeah. We've Prime Minister has said that doesn't matter how far away the dragon is, the dragon will know. So we have these signs just to remind everyone not to take anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we've also been, expanding this place according to Regent Kamiya's desires. Now we did get word that she wants a dungeon, which yeah. Hey, she's the regent. I'm not going to say make any more commentary other than that. But it's been kind of difficult trying to find someone with magical expertise to make and maintain this extra-dimensional space.
Are you saying there's no one on the dedicated staff that's supposed to be that's in charge of in keeping this very important section of the project intact?
Well, the person that's dedicated to that is the Prime Minister. She's also been working on Teleportation Tower, among other governing things.
Doesn't have any backups for the day she calls in sick.
So to fill you in, Jen, TARDIS Bunny wandered off. No one sees her at all. I'm only able to follow her for a little bit, and she finds the blueprints and scans them and sends them to the TARDIS so that we'll have a copy of them. There are notes on it in Infernal, but she can't translate right now because we're far away from the physical TARDIS, and she'll be able to translate later. First part of the workers' own safety codes has been to put up signs everywhere to remind people to not take anything because it's a dragon horde, and the dragon will know if anything is taken. And they're expanding it according to Regent Kamiya's desires, including a dungeon. But they are having difficulty finding someone who can handle the magical aspects of the build because of the interdimensional planes. The person that's supposed to be over it is the Prime Minister, which is Tong, but she also is building teleportation tower. Mm-hmm.
And other governing buildings.
Well, governing stuff.
And then Joan was then Secure made a comment of that there's no one to handle things when Tong calls in sick.
Yeah, no backup when she calls in sick.
Joan had mentioned how it's like, you mean you don't have somebody dedicated to this important part of the process?
Just how we found out it was Tong.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I got that last bit.
Well, technically on the days that she doesn't decide to come, or can't come for whatever reason, then Lady Mori will come in and make sure the extra dimensional space is stable. But she's the agricultural advisor. At least up until a few days ago, in which case she's also the... Wait, no. No, she's the academic advisor, and it was only a couple of days ago that she got instated as the temporary Secretary of Agriculture.
Mm-hmm. That seems a bit poorly thought out.
Are they wearing like helmets or something?
Yes.
Are they wearing any other protective equipment?
I mean, this is Renaissance era technology, so they have as much protection as miners would have back then.
Helmets might not even have been a thing then.
Although I imagine that some of them probably had them just because enough people got hit on the head, they were sick of it.
Yeah.
If I had to take a wild guess with nothing that I know about the time.
I have a feeling that helmets actually wouldn't have been a thing.
And hard hats are definitely a much later thing.
Look, even in the 19th century, you didn't really have a lot of miners with hard hats.
I will be right
From what I
back.
remember.
I will be back. Roleplay amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said minors, I thought like underage people.
They definitely shouldn't be building the tavern.
Galaxy Quest all over again.
Yeah, apparently helmets were not used in construction until the 30s.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
This isn't 1930.
It wasn't
think
until they
the
started
focus-
constructing the Golden Gate Bridge that anyone was like, hey, maybe we should, protect our head.
The workplace safety was not much of a focus until sometime after the Industrial Revolution, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Because for me, knowing historical bits about like coal mining and things like that in the British Isles, yeah, helmets were not a thing, and that was that was throughout the 1900s or the 1800s into the 1900s,
I blame
if
Tom
not
for the helmets.
before.
She's been to the future. She saw miners wearing helmets. She said, "You will wear helmets," and she knew nothing more.
Honestly, that's the only logical explanation for them wearing helmets right now. Is that Tong thought of it and said he will wear helmets.
She's an academic. She probably knew that helmets were good for their safety.
Honestly, that feels like more of a it would take someone completely outside of it to figure out wait a minute. I don't like it when a sword or a spear or a hammer comes at my head. So why would I like it if a rock comes at my head? We should give them helmets.
I wonder what the workers will designate me as, since I didn't announce myself with a title.
The intern.
Oh, through our psychic link, I will let the physician know that I found said blueprints and that I have scanned them to me, so we can look at them on the big screen.
Why not just make a room recreation of the final product?
Look, don't tempt the bunny.
Look,
It might move the
I'm
library.
Myk'Isle.
Not that the maps were accurate anyway, but
Intern.
You weren't on the official document, but you're with us anyways. And you're nodding along, so there are very few other conclusions.
Carl! You're Carl. You're the unpaid intern.
very important role.
True. What I find funny is that my character is more I basically was raised as a court wizard, so I'm about the closest thing that we have to a diplomat in our party, and I'm the one being designated the intern. I find that funny. That's all. I just really find that funny.
I mean, you did kind of do it to yourself.
I know. Other than my name. But since you guys weren't giving your names, I'm like, okay, don't give my name, but I don't know what to announce myself as.
To be fair, the physician did give their name.
True. Yeah, you're the one.
So here was being facetious.
You're the one who threw it off.
And at that point, I started a trend.
I am back.
Welcome.
Who discovered why they are likely wearing hard hats? Tong's been to the future. She's seen construction workers wearing hard hats. You will wear hard hats. Or you will wear hats. Helmets.
Yes.
You will wear helmets.
Sounds like a lot of work for her to tell everybody.
Not used until the 1930s.
I mean, the most she probably would have been like, you guys should probably wear these hats.
Yeah.
Alright.
That, and I was wondering what the workers would likely call me since I didn't announce myself. And Joan has dubbed me that I'm probably the intern.
It's either that or you're a boss that everybody just knows and you know better than to question who they are, even though nobody actually knows who you are. That boss that's so high up that you haven't heard of them.
Like that one.
Okay. Anyway. I totally forgot what we were doing.
Alright, well,
We're interviewing the workers about, we're talking with the lead worker about the safety precautions in this build.
Yes, okay.
But funny sneaks around.
While the bunny snakes.
Not as funny as a sneak.
That's what would have been more hilarious is that if she, I think personally it would have been more hilarious if artists had rolled poorly, and so everybody noticed her walking around, but also not doing anything about it.
Mhm.
Because it's like there's a fuzzy bunny walking around. What the heck is going on?
yeah, but
Oh, son.
unless you have any specific questions, they basically shows you around what they've been doing, the safety precautions that they're taking, the ones that they've come up with. Because someone's lazy and doesn't normally work in construction.
And is also a fan of minimalist government intervention, including codes.
I mean, hey,
And
what her thoughts were when she was doing this was that, hey, I'm just going to suggest to the Order of the Swan where buildings need to be put. Basically just playing a city building strategy game, not not doing the actual bureaucratic work. She didn't even expect to be made prime minister.
This is not happening.
Yeah, if they had said "Hey, you want to be prime minister?" she would have said no.
Yeah, she would have declined that real quick. I think the only question that I actually have for the head worker that's leading us around is his name.
Okay, where's that name generator?
The good to charge.
This one.
That way, if we have any issues, we can report it to his super.
Why do you think I want to know his name?
His supervisor is Tong. You think she's going to care?
No.
We don't need to know that.
Yeah, I was to say
We don't need to know that.
Sarkhan.
Thank you. Did he look scared when I asked him?
No.
Oh, good.
Probably more.
Because I'm not trying to intimidate anybody. I just want to know his name.
No, you'd be probably more confused because you're the one talking to him. You should obviously know who he is.
Gotta make sure that nobody's subbing in for him.
Mm.
Interns.
And I've now unequivocally confirmed in the worker's mind that I'm the intern and not the boss.
The boss's 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 boss.
Actually, at the same time, if I was the boss's 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 boss, they probably don't know all the underlings' names, and so it's actually a legitimate question on either side.
Now let's see the condition. Now let's see the location where you store all of your tools. We need to make sure that there's no possibility of rain damage.
Good one.
I mean,
Or lost or stolen tool.
usually our workers bring their own tools from home.
Jonas definitely writes that part down. Cost cutting measures.
No government funded tools. I mean, they don't have any taxes, so that's not surprising.
And let me guess, you
Right.
only get your construction schedule day by day.
I mean, hey, if you want to give us flack for that, take it up with the Prime Minister.
No, just confirming it.
We're lucky if it's daily.
What was that?
We're lucky if it's daily.
Is there like a time
Goes up
frame
to work.
for
What are we
this
doing
this is
today?
supposed
Oh
to
no,
be
boss
done?
didn't tell us.
It's worse than a union job because everybody shows up at 8 a.m. and then they only get what they're doing that day at noon.
Well, yeah, because Tom's not a morning person, so yeah, it wouldn't be till almost noon.
She's a terrible leader.
For that job, I'd be
This
so
idea was
frustrated.
That's the part where they get smart and they all decide not to show up until noon.
No. They get paid by the hour.
Yeah, or they just spend the first 3 hours doing donuts in the go-kart in the golf cart equivalent that they have. Which they probably don't have, but they'll play cards or something.
Or maybe tidy up from the work they had the day before.
Or they actually have a good leader who's like, well, we didn't get our work, but I'm pretty sure this is what needs to be done next. Go do it.
Yeah.
Which is basically the only way this project's ever getting done under Tom's leader.
I mean, hey. When
It's a lot of work, though.
my thought process when I was introducing the government of this island to my players, and they said, realistically, Tong is the head of state. I'm just like, you want to change that soon. They never did.
Why do I have a feeling that Mori-chan is just like trying to get her to do a little bit more proactive, but also trying to respect Tong for who she is?
I mean, they're in a relationship, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing that's separating them from being married is Tong's stubbornness.
I don't know why, but I have a very
Alright.
that's right. Because the image of Tong kind of like wrapped in a blanket like a burrito, like we have from the last session. And like Tong just like sitting, wrapped in a blanket like a burrito, and Mori-chan's like, Tong, honey, the workers need to know what they need to do in the build, in the lair. I know you're just waking up, and I know you already want a nap, but if you just tell me what you need done, I can go and deliver the message for you, and then you can get back to your burrito-ness.
Oh, you think you think Tong wants to take naps regularly? No, she's still suffering from PTSD. Still has those terrible dreams. Yes.
I was gonna ask if you wanted the bunny to roll another perception check.
Sure, why not?
Okay, because this one's an 18.
Nothing sketchy, nothing out of place, not even in the extra dimensional space.
Okay.
I stalked it yet.
No, not with that natural 20. She is not noticeable this entire time you're going to be there.
Gotta understand.
I meant, have they stalked the pub yet?
Yeah, no, he was asking about the pub being stalked.
Oh. Pub's not stocked yet. That's probably going to be one of the last things. Actually, I can do this.
Were you needing the pub to be stocked?
No, it's not even a thing that I could know, but I remembered that it wasn't stocked last time and I had to ask.
I'm gonna go put my retainer in. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you guys know, like, what is going on here. Let's see, can I? Okay. Is that a good enough picture? Yeah, that's good enough picture. So I'm going to be posting a picture of something up. Is there anything that you want to ask before you leave?
Actually, I did have one more question. Has anyone else come by, either solicitors, other inspectors, in the past, say, 2 days? Anyone outside of the ordinary?
I mean, out of the ordinary, like, I mean, I suppose you could call the inspection that happened right after the, well, I suppose it wasn't right after, but it was like, it was yesterday, in fact. But that was with our normal inspector. And that we were expecting that inspection. So, just so you guys know what's going on in this place, that is what's going on. Alright, and the number that is in the thousands is the gold cost.
Oh my god.
I love the empty part that's 10,000 gold and will take 90 days.
Oh yeah, I forgot what was going to go there. No, I think that's the total.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would check out.
could have had some intrigue about money laundering or something.
Trading post, probably.
Interdimensional pub.
Well, you've been very helpful. Thank you very much, Sarkhan. And you were doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you. Bodyguard. Was it the bodyguard?
The bodyguard. Yeah, it's this weird new thing that they like to do. Makes it so that you can't really get close to people, creates intimidation, all that.
Roll deception.
Last sentence is either really good or really bad.
Natural 20 with my -1 to deception.
Alright, we now know that next session you're all going to be rolling badly.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
And you reconvene outside. You're rejoined by
Honestly,
the bunny.
what? Oh.
Reunited.
That was both very informative and very not helpful.
Yes. But the
Honestly,
little girl
what that
did find
means-
blueprints.
Well, that's good.
And there's something interesting there.
What that just reminded me of, the interaction with the workers, is the Vikings and how skipping of leg day and how just absolutely dumb they were that we actually got a back. That's what this interaction with the workers kind of reminded me of, to be perfectly honest. Oh no, I broke Arthur. I'm sorry.
Oh, leg day.
Like,
Please get
very embarrassing.
very embarrassed.
I do want to ask this. Did you guys call the bunny back? AKA, did the physician be like, hey, we're peacing out now?
Yes.
Okay.
Joan probably didn't even realize you left.
Mm-hmm. And I probably see her arrive and say, oh, there you are. Okay.
So, does anyone else have any other ideas to go off of?
I know Avery has an idea of one of the people we should be following and where they are, but I don't know where he's at, so.
Where Avery is or where this person is?
Yes. They're probably in the same place.
Useful.
And where are they?
Like I said, I don't know. Let's Avery to get the job done.
Why wouldn't he tell you where he's at?
Maybe he's in a tight situation.
Wouldn't that be an exact time to tell you where he's at?
Not if it's going to get him in trouble. Trust me, I know these things.
Do I have to roll insight for that?
I mean, yeah, if you want to roll insight against other players, just let me know. I don't. Is Sahir lying about this?
No?
Then I don't see much of a point, other than to be like, because the lower you roll, it's more like, perhaps he does, perhaps he doesn't.
Yeah.
So, since we don't really have anything to go off of right now, what are our thoughts?
So we got an angsty dragon teenager that we likely won't be able to easily track down. We have a changeling that we probably definitely can't track down.
We checked on the local going-ons and if there's any new news that we could pick up from them in the last couple of days. I'm not sure. Well, in the last day. We've only been at this for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's an option.
Oh,
Be surprised
for
what the
more
locals
information.
know.
Oh.
What?
Sorry, someone was talking over the pigeon.
Oh, perhaps wait for more information. Oh.
Why is there a pigeon?
Don't worry about
He's
it.
from the future. I'm
To be a dragon. But in that instance, I would know he's not a pigeon.
In character, you don't hear a pigeon.
I had a feeling that was the case, but I thought it'd be funny to play along anyway.
Okay. So, for the sake of expediency,
Mhm.
You don't really get anything from any noteworthy news that pertains to the case for almost a week. The blueprints that the rabbit got, the scribblings that were infernal, said that say pretty much bank is going here.
What's going there?
bank.
Bank.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
But
Ka-ching.
after a week,
Is Avery MIA after a week?
after a week, you all get on your sending stones, at least those of you with sending stones, a message from Avery that just appears to be like random nonsense, except to the one person who knows thieves can't. And to said person, it's
Bold of you to assume the bunny doesn't know thieves can't.
those with thieves can't. I understand this message to be 2 addresses.
Bum, bum, bum.
These
2 addresses.
Yeah, these 2 addresses, if you decide to go look at them, they're right next to each other.
That's pretty convenient.
I know when we first get these messages, I'm going to look at it. It's like, anybody know how to read this?
You're saying it isn't. It's as clear as mud to you.
I've heard mud clearer than this.
Oh, good, then it's working.
That this
I'm pretty sure it says. Well, it's a couple of addresses.
addresses. Like,
Are we back inside the TARDIS?
Presumably after a week.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay. Because then the bunny is on top of her console, typing in said addresses.
Actually, yeah, I was kind of thinking like it's roughly like it's sometime during the day, and Jonah's showing Zahir, okay, this is how you actually make a proper cup of coffee. Like, you do pretty good, but this is how you really do it. You gotta get it just right.
I mean, Zahir is paying attention, though. He does want to know the different ways of making coffee.
And it's like, don't
He's
get me
pretty proud of
started
his
on the...
Arabian coffee, but
And John
John's
probably
not
has like this whole thing about, okay, this is how you do different milks. This is how you do certain temperatures before you even put them in. This is how you do different sugars. And there's this new thing called molasses. Holy cow. Don't get me started.
What's really, really funny to me is the fact that it's a widely held belief that actually like Turkish coffee is actually some of the best in the world because of how it's prepared. So I find it hilarious that Joan is trying to teach here, who's basically from Fantasy Arabia, which would I would be assuming including Turkey, how to make a better cup of coffee.
It's right next to it. Then, and it's at that moment that your sending stones ring.
Go off.
Yeah, go off. I imagine
So the
that
bunny
Again?
sent you the address.
yeah, I imagine that for Joan it's like bird brain, like a message from
Yeah.
bird brain.
And it's like,
Okay.
oh, I can feel the voice. I'm just gonna put this off to the side. I'm still working on my pour over here.
Alright, so the rabbit puts them into the console. Once it gets them, it's an address that's in town. If you're like basically pulling up Google Maps,
Pretty much.
it's not too far
Any-
to walk.
is it close to any notable people or places that we've already been to? Or places that we would have preferred to stay away from if possible, but now we have to go there?
Please don't lose that.
So you know how last week Marco was saying don't give the DM ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Was that me that did that? There's
It,
too many DMs in this campaign.
it means
It was
that it means that it went from being like nowhere noteworthy to being like on the way to Turku's place from where you are.
That means we won't get all the way there. It's only close-ish. Maybe.
And yes, dear, it was you who helped because you said, I'm a DM. I sympathize. I want to help. In the which I love you, but don't give the DM ideas. The other DMs.
Oh, but that makes for better storytelling.
Wait till we start up the main campaign again. I got ideas.
Oh boy.
The rest of the party, stop being so helpful.
Yeah, the rest of the party. So here, don't like stop giving the gods ideas.
Now the new god comments. So here.
What really needs to happen is coming across Erden and having Erden tell Seer that. Trust me, don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it.
Let's see that after.
Hey Marco, high or low?
I would love to see.
Low.
Oh no.
Okay.
Did we get the bad ending?
We will see.
Oh.
Don't break your alone and do nothing.
It creates suspense. You have to know.
me a tea.
That's true. You're a writer. You can understand the need for suspense.
True. But as the writer, I don't have to worry about it because I know what happens. And when I don't, the story sits there for ages because I can't figure it out, and it drives me.
So, what's going on here is that the DMs in this group are all conspiring to give each other ideas.
This is the downside of playing a campaign with 3 DMs in it.
And there's a player who's conspiring against himself to help the DMs.
Yep. At the same time, though, sorry, what I was thinking of is that if Sahir is our new god, is our god pawn for this side campaign, what I really would love to see is Tom's reaction to that, considering that she gave Erden the nickname of God Pawn.
I don't know, earns
Like-
a class all of his own.
And Sahir feels like such an unlikely candidate for that.
But at the same time, I can also hear like, no, not this again. I already had to deal with this with a stupid paladin. I don't want to deal with this with somebody else. No.
Sahir would be like clueless for half of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I should ask about these addresses that we have acquired.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to go investigate now, or are we going to go investigate next session?
I'm down for next. To be perfectly honest.
Actually, I imagine like in the week, Joan's gotten accustomed to like knowing where everything is, because like they're gonna live there eventually. So Joan's like, here's the addresses. Like, all right, let's go. Either something's gonna go down or he's dying, and I want to be there for both.
Why?
Why not?
Because there'll be a fight.
And Joan's a fighter. She's itching for a fight. Alright. So, at the very least, Joan's going.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I'll go.
I definitely think we should go investigate the address. It was merely a question of the people playing the characters if we still have more time.
We can at least
Yeah,
get the next clue. We can at least get the next clue.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in my head, all of us are going to go investigate the addresses. Like, we're gonna go together. It was more of a, do we do that in
Half
the
an
day?
hour. Alright. So,
Yeah.
you go to the addresses and you do find an alley. Sadly, Joan, looks like whatever action was going on has already happened. Yeah, there's no Aarakocra in sight. You instead find two. Well, you can't really call them creatures, but they are humanoid in shape.
It crystalline?
They're not crystalline. They are. One is wood and metallic. The other is purely metallic.
Now the physician must worry about Cybermen.
That's no bueno.
These figures are they just like lying on the ground? What are they doing?
I get the impression by the action already happening is that they're pretty nicely destroyed in one way or another.
So, the purely metallic one has just like a huge like hole and what you could guess would be the chest area. The other one looks like it's basically been bisected. So, legs have been separated from the torso.
Is this Avery's work, or is this the work of Tora? That's her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Roll investigation.
Is there any continuity between the injuries and where like the material they're made of is? Like, is the wood kind of like at the legs while the rest of it's metallic, or is the like head wood while like the legs and like lower chest is metallic?
I
kind
will
of
give you
thing?
the choice between nature and arcana.
Okay. I had to find my modifier.
Definitely not. Gonna do arcana. 14.
All right, so the one that's like
9.
so the one that's like partially wood and partially metal. Excuse me. That is a warforged. You know to be a warforged.
I got a 9 on my investigation.
You're having a hard time telling if they're connected or if they're. You're not exactly sure what the source of these is.
Hmm.
Is one of the materials obviously originally part of how the Warforged originally was, or
Yes.
is it the wood
It
or
looks
the
like
metal?
that this warforged was like the material that's around the warforged. It looks like it was a part of the warforged,
Okay.
if not originally, then like repairs.
I rolled
Okay.
an investigation to see about the full metal one, but I got a 10, so I don't really expect much.
It's not anything that you recognize. You've never heard of any construct that was humanoid. Though I should note that the head of this thing is not necessarily like a humanoid head. It's kind of more elongate, and so
Does it look like a droid from Star Wars?
I'm going to go more with Geth from Mass Effect, if you've seen any of that series. Well, or
Probably not.
No, but we can look it up. Thanks.
I will tag alongside her to investigate the full metal one.
Are they? They're both Warforged?
The wood
Do
is
they bleed?
Okay, so first off, Joan, that was, are they both Warforged?
Mm-hmm.
Roll Arcana.
22.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
Okay.
this thing is a construct, but it's not a Warforged. Alright, Mary and Dominic, it sounded like you're about to say something?
Ask if they bleed.
Does it bleed?
Yes. Do they bleed?
Like, did they bleed? Or is there evidence of blood around them?
No. At least not blood that you would recognize as blood. I'm sure that Warforged is leaking sap somewhere from the wounds.
Sure. Okay.
And then the physician was investigating the metal one with me.
Yes. So did you roll investigation?
Yes, I got 14.
You're not exactly sure what this thing is. So it does look like it's been for a lack of a better term, restored within the past year.
Was this thing alive at any point, or is it always been...
Alright, so I'm going to ask either for medicine or arcana for this.
Want the doctor to do a medicine check.
The physician is
12.
for physics, not healing.
This is true.
Um,
I got yeah.
It was alive. It seems like if you were to repair it a bit, give it some power, you could probably bring it back to life.
Would the word operation be better? Bring it back to operation.
I don't know, I'm not an
Or
engineer.
Or to get it working again, maybe.
Do I want to? I don't want to fiddle with it if I don't know how dangerous it is. Is there a way for me to see whether this would be a bad idea to bring it back? Like, does it have programming or something?
Physician is about to unknowingly bring back an assassin droid.
But the physician is at least trying to figure out if this is a good or a bad idea. I applaud him for that.
Is going to be either insight or investigation.
Insight, you say? How about a 30?
I mean, there are weapons, but they're not in hand.
With the Warforged, does it look like it was... How thorough is, like, their defensive wounds? That I can tell.
Roll medicine.
Oh, well. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely rolling low next session. I got a 21.
There are surprisingly few defensive wounds. It almost seems like this Warforged was caught unawares by the worst of it. Yes?
Okay. I can temporarily hop from my body into another body.
Okay.
I wish to hop into said the Warforged to figure out what it is, what it does.
Okay.
Bad idea. I'm getting flashbacks.
It was a grand old time.
Alright, so you do whatever it is that you do. Your consciousness moves to that of the Warforged.
I'm going to assume that the rabbit body that she's been in just like collapses to the ground, and Islene's going to be like, "My Lady TARDIS, are you okay? What happened?"
And the Warforged.
I'm like over here examining the other one, and then I just look up at this, like, oh, don't do that.
All right.
Not again.
Okay.
What did you do again? What did she do? What?
The Warforged is gonna give a thumbs up.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So before the Warforged gives a thumbs up, Joe and Cynthia are actively looking at it. Say here and Physician, since you both have high passive perceptions, you both notice that the eyes of the Warforged like flicker on before the Warforged just like.
Oh, the
That looks
TARDIS,
funny and a
right?
very living
Somebody
Warforged.
please explain to me.
She's body hopping. She can't do it for long. But I suppose in this state, at least, I don't have to worry about her dying because the thing's not really alive.
Right. And you wanted to like figure out what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a good fable about this, or we can make one.
That would be a history check.
17.
So you get memories of the distant past when this thing was actually used for war. But then, yeah, more recent memories are more of a peaceful life. You know, much more like a craftsman. In this particular Warforged case, a woodcarver. Yeah, what was that rule again?
17.
You do get a memory of this metallic construction, like approaching the Warforged. But that's the and the very last moment is of whatever pain a construct can feel as he gets blasted from behind.
Okay. I will hop back out, back into my own little stuff body.
The Warforged goes limp again.
And then through the psychic connection, that one carved wood. Also, it got attacked from behind by. What did you say was something metal?
The Warforged didn't see what attacked.
Oh.
One of the last memories was of the metal construct, which is the other victim lying this alley towards them.
So what I supposed to clarify is that you got bits and pieces of memories. So the memory of the metal construct approaching the Warforged is disconnected, but soon-ish to the last memory.
Okay.
The two of them were like going down the alley when they were attacked.
Okay. I will relay that to the physician, and the physician can do with that information what he will.
So it would seem our friends here were attacked quite violently. Well, maybe not quite violently, but at the very least they were attacked.
I would say being bisected is rather violent.
That is a fair assumption.
Actually, can I roll Arcana to see like if this Warforged is at all repairable?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, dear, would you please get out of that and back into the proper... Well, I wish I could get you back in your proper body, but at least the safe one.
Captain.
30-20.
It would only be repairable if you were to get like a cleric to do like a resurrection. But you do think that if you really wanted to ask questions, you could probably get a cleric to use Speak with Dead on it.
Hmm. John will actually look over to the Tarpus Pines. Hey, so are you going to take over the other one, or are you just going to do this one?
Don't
Okay.
encourage her.
I will go over to the second one and see what its memories are. Again, another 17.
You get memories of an old time.
Was it the best of times and the worst of times? Sorry.
It's actually more worst of times. Because since I suppose that the bunny and the physician are science fiction aficionados, you get more of a hive mind feeling from this metal contraption. You get basically a stream of data, more or less, that indicates that the country that it came from is suffering from basically an apocalypse.
That is unfortunate.
Before it, before like memory like shuts down, but then when it the memory started up again, it's like I think 2,500 years later.
Has it been separated from the hive mind? Not that I would know, but I want to know.
But then it's like found by a bunch of people like that are like traveling through a cave. This cave that you find, it's basically in the same state as the mines of Moria, except without all the goblins.
What about the cave trolls?
It's got worse things than cave trolls.
Yes. Balrog.
Yes.
And this thing is like taken to a different place where the memory, or the thing is told that the leader of this area is a kobold who has black scales. And like earlier this month, that kobold and this thing came to this island to meet with a group called the Order of the Swan. However, the kobold got dragged on some different adventure before this thing could meet that group. And then the last thing you get is I guess I'll do this in second person. You get like blasted, and like you turn around and you see a teenager and a elf that's hooded. The teenager has their arm out like they just cast a spell, and you like try to fight both of them off, but before there's a bang, and then everything goes or shuts off.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Could I tell what race the teenager was?
Looks human. It looks like, since the bunny did see that person, it looks like the same teenager that you encountered
Okay.
a week ago.
With the hooded figure, can I get like height and body shape since their hood was covering their face and see that.
Well, so unlike before, where the hood was basically to the point where you couldn't see the face, this time it looked like the person was a little sloppier. This time, you could actually see the face.
Okay.
Bum bum bum.
Give me an insight.
This one is not a nat 20. I rolled an 18 and I get +2.
All right. This person appears to be slimmer than the average person, but is mostly giving off their appearance is mostly for the show of it rather than function. And since you said that was a 20, a modified 20?
Yeah.
This is probably the changeling you're looking for.
Okay. What color are their eyes? Can I tell?
At that moment, they were blue.
Okay.
The teenager had black eyes.
Okay.
It was kind of unsettling.
You mean just the irises were black, or the entire eye itself?
No, like its entire eye was
No.
not the entire eye.
It's just the. I think
the iris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with black-eyed children here.
Not yet, anyways. Okay.
No, then you'll get the man in black coming after you.
I mean, all black eyes can be really creepy, or they're just beady, and there's lots of things that have just plain black eyes.
Okay. I'll relay this information to the physician who I assume will relay it to the group.
And then return to your little rabbit buddy.
Yep.
Interesting. I will share the information aloud and then start mumbling and doing, the doctor, like, thinking.
Well, we've been let through so far. Have we determined that these two are very much alive then?
Yeah, it would seem
I feel we
so.
should be concerned that the general citizenry is being taken apart like a tinkerer's toys.
Probably.
Was there anything in that message other than the addresses from Avery, or was any indication of where Avery might have been? Or was it just the addresses?
I did not glean anything other than the addresses from it, correct?
Correct.
Merely addresses. Though it seems that our man has led us through so far.
So far.
say that for the rabbit, you didn't get any indication that the metallic construction was hostile or normally hostile.
Okay.
So we've got a construct and a warforge that were attacked by the people we've been following for a while now.
Is it safe to presume that they might have known something?
Possibly. I don't think the old girl got anything like that from them. However, I am very good at tinkering, so we could bring them back to the Toppers and I can mess around with it, and then we could see what happens if they find out that they're alive still.
You can bring a
Or if-
warforged back?
I don't know about that, but I could definitely work with the construct, though. Despite what a lot of people think, I am not a god. I am just a man who's just very, very clever.
Hmm.
Is at this point Sahir remembers that we are also acting as some sort of detective police force and decides, maybe we should tell Tora that the general citizenry have been torn apart by our suspects.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea. I'll get that. Isling gets out her sending stone and starts
Sending stone.
starts sending stuff to Tora. It's like, no. Follow the lead. Came across 2 dead bodies.
And Sahir's will come through roughly the same time, be like, so our suspects have not been detained, but they have taken to taking apart the citizens.
We have
Alright,
the citizenry is now in danger.
the two of you
And
will
then
get a
punches
message
in
that
the
says,
address.
yeah, the two of you will get a response back that I can't understand you if you're talking at the same time.
Sahir just types back the citizens. They're in pieces by the suspect and the address. Guess he's psychically saying it, not typing it in, but
I'll pause for a minute until I see Sahir kind of finish, and then explain that we followed a lead and basically just kind of like basically repeat what happened, but also specifying a warforged and a construct. Well, I guess I wouldn't understand what it was. What do I call the metal one? Like
Construct.
okay, thank you. I don't know what construct is, but okay. What is a construct? And I'll put construct in and finish sending it, but
obviously a good, upstanding metallic citizen.
Well, a construct, it's like a robot. You don't know what a robot is. Is a
no.
metal contraption built in a specific shape for a specific manner. It is constructed.
Okay.
Jones
I was
just kind of
almost-
like looks back at the warforged like, They're not doing a very good job of explaining this.
You know what? You explain it.
You could have just. It sounds like it's just a warforged with extra steps.
Sí, señor.
A warforged. I don't think I can explain a warforged. I'm not actually a magician.
Alright,
Isolene like kind of turns inside of herself, like, shoot, I'm a wizard. I'm supposed to know these things, I guess.
you'll get a message back that says a construct is an artificial being. And
There we go. That's what I said.
um, uh, uh, Herr Silvar said that that thing was here for, I guess, diplomatic purposes. If it's repairable, please do so. What, could you fill in the rest? We haven't been in contact for a week.
The case had gone cold. Unfortunately, we had kind of hit a roadblock. We're just following a new opening that Avery has made for us.
Before you ask, no, we don't know where he is either.
Just that, only thing that he said was that he is going deep undercover.
Yep.
Well, sounds like you have another crime to add to these people's list.
I would say, upon hearing that the construct was meant to be a diplomat, I'm like, oh dear. Like, I understand that position. I understand the importance of that position.
You should watch your back, Iselene.
Oh yeah, you're a yeah. I completely forgot about that.
I just imagine it, like, as soon as Sahir says that, Isling just, like, turns around, like, looking to make sure that there's nothing around.
Take the here.
Is there anything on the Warforged that would imply like
it's
a
true.
denomination?
Listen.
Don't mind
Denomination.
me, I just threw a pillow at my husband.
Yeah, just like a word religion or like since you said either like to repair it would require resurrection from a cleric. So is there like any civic godly?
What?
Doesn't appear to be.
Okay.
The character is.
Um,
Okay.
gonna go ahead, I guess, and start to collect that construct as best I can.
Alright. And I
Um,
assume that you're going to take it back to the TARPUS.
Yes.
Alright.
Elaine's not afraid of herself. She's afraid because of
Unless
the fact that
anyone has anything else.
and
Physician.
and so
And I
like,
suppose
oh,
with
we
the
did
help
help.
action from
I thought it was
the
help.
rabbit,
Begin to tweet that.
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and roll a. Do you have any tool proficiencies?
Tool proficiencies.
I don't.
Oh. Hang on, I'm gonna have to look at the actual.
Because what it's
I
going.
think. Oh, actually, yes. So just with that just with the multi-purpose tool that I have, that's the only thing I have proficiency in tool-wise.
Okay. So go ahead and roll an intelligence check, adding your proficiency bonus.
15.
All right. So this was more so a check to see how long it would take.
Gotcha.
So basically, by the end of the day, you're like fiddling around. Yeah, I think I got it. I think I got it. Before there's like a flash of sparks that you kind of have to like back up so you don't get face full of sparks. And you hear what sounds like a computer startup sound.
Are we talking Windows or Macintosh?
Windows.
Did we do something respectful for the Warforged?
Yeah, honestly,
Warforged
like
are people too.
Jonah's gonna actually like gather up like the pieces of the Warforged and try and find a religious organization in the city that is both established and would be sympathetic to this Warforged's plight.
Okay.
Right.
I was like, I know I helped the physician gather the pieces of the construct, but at the same time, like looking over my shoulder, watching Joan doing the same for the Warforged, I'm like, okay, good.
Okay.
I'd make sure we gather both of them.
Okay. I'm gonna have you roll either investigation or perception. You just need to get over a 5.
Rolls a
Assuming
nat
that's for
one.
Joan.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna use perception because my modifier is 5, so
Okay.
I can't fail.
Okay. Well, that's why you could also done history, because you know Chomper is a cleric, and it doesn't seem like she discriminates.
It's a 10 for history.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, I know a cleric. Damn it, Chopper is so far away.
No, she isn't. She's in the city. Somewhere.
Far enough.
They're not right in front of me, therefore they are far away.
But like, as the construct is like waiting, like, there will be a picture posted for those of you that aren't going to look it up. Basically, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see the picture. It's like center eye flashlight thing lights up and it like sits up, and like turns like towards the physician, says, "Greetings," and that's what we'll call it for this week.
Sierra's probably helping with the Warforged. He feels bad.
I think I was helping with the construct just because I recognize, like, this is another diplomat. I understand that. Plus, I would probably be better at trying to help mend